What's up, party people? It's your boy Optimus Code. Welcome to the channel. So today we got a good one for y'all. We are going to interview one of my developer buddies, and he's going to explain to y'all everything about NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and how they impact the dev process. If you stick around to the end of the video, you will have a much better understanding of NDAs and how they influence devs and everything that happens while games are being developed. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Optimus Code, and I have with me on the line a AAA developer that have worked on many of the games that y'all have played and loved.
I don't know about loved.
No, I mean, we're not going to go into specifics. So we're going to talk about NDAs today, and once we're done discussing NDAs, you'll understand why we can't really go into like specifics and stuff. But rest assured when I tell you that this guy is a rock star. He has worked on games that we have loved. He's going to downplay it. Can't mention any names, but I guarantee you we have loved it because I've played them with some of y'all. So let's go ahead and do an introduction. I don't know what name you want to go by. Like, what's your cool internet name that you want to be known by?
I don't have any cool internet names. I don't normally do insider things. Just call me Cardigan King because I'm wearing a cardigan right now.
All right, Cardigan King. So how long have you been in the industry, Cardigan King?
Too long. I suppose 25, 26 years. But on and off, I have left the industry for brief periods, gone into civilian life, as it were. I tried working in the server industry just over a decade ago and decided that I couldn't do the 9 to 5 thing. Actually, it was kind of weird. It's like you leave because you don't like the crunch, you don't like the sometimes it feels like it's development takes over every aspect of your life. It impacts on everything you do. It impacts on your family. Sometimes you can be moving from one country to another. That's happened to me a number of times where you've just had to literally just uproot and go to another country for where the work is.
Oh, there's no lead time. Like you don't know.
There kind of is. You kind of know that maybe a project's coming to an end and you probably won't be retained because you're on a fixed term contract or whatever it is. Or you just don't want to be there anymore and you have to go where the work is, right?
Sure.
And there are certain cities around the world where, there's lots of big developers like Montreal, the Öresund region here where I am at the moment, Malmo, you've got IO, you've got Massive, you've got Shark Mob, you've got Avalanche, you've got Tars, on and on and on. There's lots of studios around here you could realistically maybe find work in. So there are places where you can kind of settle. I suppose LA is another one, California, Santa Monica around there. There's lots of teams. But realistically, if you're working in a team, I don't know, some remote part of France, rural France, say, not that I've done that. If that project comes to an end and you don't really want to work at that team anymore, your options are fairly limited, so you're probably uprooting and going to another city to go and to work. So I mean I left to try and find some stability in my actual real life, not my work life, and it just didn't work out. I don't fit in the 9 to 5 thing very well. I think my brain's been destroyed by the industry, to be honest with you. I don't think you're turning up with a suit and going to meetings and none of that worked for me, to be honest with you. So I ended up back in the industry doing what I'd been doing all along. But anyway, we're here to talk about NDAs. So
let's talk about NDAs.
I've been around the block. I left the block and then I came back to the block a couple of times.
All right, so I know that you are a bona fide developer, and the people are just going to have to trust me on that part. So we're here to discuss NDAs. You've been in the industry about 25, 26 years. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and run down this list of questions that I have for you about NDAs, and then we'll call it a day. So first, can you briefly describe what an NDA is?
Okay, well, obviously it stands for non-disclosure agreement, but I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. It's a legal document normally between you as somebody who's being exposed to something that somebody doesn't want you to know about or other people to know about, and like a company. So there are loads of NDAs are used within the industry. I've had to sign NDAs when going for interviews.
Really? Even the interviews and
yeah. I mean, I've been to an interview where they didn't want to talk about the project until I'd signed an NDA about that. I wouldn't reveal what they were working on, right?
Okay.
Although, quite frankly, I still don't know why I had to sign that one, because I think it was pretty obvious what they were going to be working on. But okay. I mean, all an NDA is, it's really there to protect commercial, I suppose, commercially sensitive information. So either to protect some kind of technology that somebody's working on. So you can't talk about, I don't know, certain tech, whether that's hardware or software, or it's because the company isn't quite prepared to let you know that they're working on whatever game or whatever project it is they're working on. So all an NDA does is it outlines what you can say and what you can't say, not really very specifically. Normally they're quite general and broad.
Sure.
Although if it's technological stuff, it can actually be quite detailed. So literally you can't talk about the software development kit, where it's at. You can't talk about hardware. You can't talk about specifications. You can't talk about what the development kit does.
So like, that's even like, say, can you go home and talk to your wife about your day at work and stuff you worked on? Like what level of detail
I don't think anyone's going to be putting microphones in my kitchen for when I'm, cooking dinner for my wife. But technically speaking, you probably shouldn't know, because it defines what a third party is. So an NDA will normally say something along the lines of, you can discuss this topic with verified people, and there'll be a list, people within the company, people within this third company, but third parties, you cannot discuss these things. Okay. So whatever it is. So say I don't know, I'm trying to think. Say I'm working on a game. Should we call it Bunny Hop 5? Let's call it Bunny Hop 5. And the developer doesn't want anyone to know that we're working on Bunny Hop 5. I don't think anyone's going to really have a go at me if I talk to my wife, say, "Oh, we're working on Bunny Hop 5 today." If I'm saying it in my own home, I've never really felt like I couldn't talk to my wife about what I'm working on. Not that I actually do, because she gets really bored when I start talking about what I'm working on. But
tell me about it.
but yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't talk to friends about it. I mean, a lot of the friends that I know are into gaming, and people who do know me and actually know where I work have asked me at times, "Oh, what are you working on?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can't tell you." Right? Yeah. It's like people know who I am. People know where I work, and if this kind of crap gets out and it comes out from you, it's not exactly massive degrees of separation to trace it back to me. So I'm not going to. I mean, it's one of these things with a lot of these people who talk about like getting insider leaks. I'm like, dude, where the are you getting that from? Because I honestly don't really know anyone in the industry who would breach an NDA like that, And more importantly, it's not just NDAs. The other side of the NDA is that you sign a contract of employment, right? Uh-huh. And in the terms and conditions of your employment contract, you will be signing something that says, don't you be talking about what we're working on. You'll have like a secrecy thing, and that you can't talk about things prior to PR releases. There's all that kind of is in your contract. It's in your terms and conditions of your employment contract. And if you aren't reading those T&Cs and you're working in the industry and you aren't reading your contract T&Cs, because that's like normally like 5 to 6, maybe even more pages of what your legal responsibilities are to the organization that employs you, you need to start reading that stuff, because if you breach that, they will fire you. They will fire you, and you will be persona non grata in the industry. You really will if you breach that. You know.
So when you hear these YouTube videos where you have all leaked information from insiders, what do you think about that?
To young guys and girls in the industry, don't open your mouth. Just don't open your mouth on stuff. I mean, it's disrespectful to the people you're working with. If you're working on something that's supposed to be secretive, if you're working on a project that people don't want the details getting out, keep your mouth shut. I mean, why are you talking about it? I mean, what is your objective?
Right.
To be cool on the internet? Okay, fine, be cool on the internet, but
I hear you, man. You like that resonates with me.
I don't understand it. I mean, to be honest with you, there's very few things that I hear that I think people would be interested in anyway.
Well, you never know when people are clout chasing, like the tiniest bit to prove that they know someone on the inside is so valuable to them that they will probably rat you out just to get 5 minutes of fame on Snap.
Yeah, which is why I don't talk about it. I just don't.
When working on a AAA game, does everyone have to sign an NDA? Artists, developers?
It's normally, I mean, I would say once you're inside a studio, once you're inside a team, working on Bunny Hop 5 or whatever it is, I would say it's normally covered by your terms and conditions of employment.
Wow, so it's baked in.
Yeah. I mean, you have a responsibility to the organisation you work for. It's normally in the T&Cs of your contract. So it's normally something along the lines of, you have a responsibility to whatever organisation to maintain communication silence, blah 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 blah, not to talk about what you're dealing with. I mean, it honestly can go as far as if you want to take a presentation to GDC or Develop, these conferences that developers go to, you want to take a presentation. It can go as far as requiring to, say if you wanted to, there's Razor, which is like a system, I suppose, usage tool. It tells you how the system is being used in say for PlayStation within their development kits. There are tools which tells you, system level usage. And if you wanted to show, the graphs that produces, you had to ask permission from them, Sony, to use that stuff.
That's your own analytics stuff for your own game, right?
Yeah, but it's their analytics tool, right? So it's information about their system. You're talking about their system. And it's the same for Microsoft. I mean, they're a little bit, more chill about it now, but particularly around the SPE stuff, there was some stuff that, in a way they wanted developers to talk about because they wanted developers to learn from each other. So, a rising tide lifts all ships, so they wanted people to talk about it, but there's also stuff they didn't want you to talk about, right? And so that they would choose to disseminate that information via private channels. So it couldn't be. Hey,
we had to cut it right here. One of my goals for this channel is to keep all of the videos under 15 minutes. And we got to leave time for a quiz. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish this talk in multiple parts, right? Because I know it's getting interesting and there was so much more good stuff to come. So we're going to stop it here. We're going to let y'all take the quiz and then we're going to wrap up. Okay, that's it. Quiz over. Time up. Pencils down. How did y'all do? So hopefully this wasn't too difficult. And again, this is just part one. This is just setting the stage. There's so much good stuff with NDAs that's going to come from this conversation. And y'all really going to learn a lot more about how it works from someone that is inside the industry that has had to deal with this stuff on a consistent basis for over 20 years. So that's what it is. And we'll see y'all the next time. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, all that good stuff if you thought the video was worth your time. Share it with your friends, anybody that you think will benefit from this. You'll soon see why developers do not talk during the game dev process. So much stuff we see on social media, right? The developers can just clear this up right away, but they don't. They never say anything. They're always silent. And you'll understand why by the time we're done with this series. All right. Thanks, y'all. Peace.